Welcome to the Garage Door Heroes podcast. I am your host, Robb Leishman, founder of Legit 5 Garage Door Marketing, and this is the place where garage door dealers become true heroes in their markets and businesses. In each episode, I bring you proven strategies, insider stories, and conversations with industry leaders to help you grow your company, lead your team with confidence, and create the freedom you've been looking for. Because in this business, it's not just about fixing doors, it's about building lives, families, and legacies. Let's get started. Okay, right on. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the 18th episode of the Garage Door Heroes podcast. And I have an amazing guest today. And I'm really excited that we can jump in and talk about some really deep stuff. You know, I got Roy Bardowell. Everybody knows who he is. He's the guru. He is the scholar of garage doors, right? Over 50 years of experience in the industry. He's talked on every subject, and I've read his articles. We've all heard him. I've seen his posts on social media. And thank you so much, Roy, for joining us today.
Thanks for asking me. I appreciate it.
Right on. As I mentioned, Roy he's been on stage. He is a published author. He's spoken at all of the big time events with the big organizations in our industry. And everything from commercial and industrial to UL 325, and then right into the residential service and repair aspects of the industry, and so many years of experience. And he's lived all around the North American continent. And I don't want to tell his story for him. I don't want to steal any thunder or step on toes. I want Roy to tell his story about where he came from, because all of us start somewhere in this industry. All of us kind of decide one day, hey, I kind of want to look into this or check this out or take this apart and put it back together. And so now here we are. So without me yammering anymore, Roy, thanks again for coming on and making time for us. And tell us where it's all started. Tell us where the garage door industry started in your life.
Sure. Well, my journey is really unique because where I lived in New Jersey growing up, I actually lived next door to a guy. His name was Leon Hunt. He was a founder of a company called Automatic Doorman Incorporated. They made residential and commercial garage door openers. So the thing that got me started in it was this company, because Paterson, New Jersey had was short on employable people at the time, and that's where the company was. He used to bring home components that had to be assembled. It needed fasteners and stuff attached. And he used to pay his kids like 25 cents or 35 cents, depending on the component, to assemble these things that he would bring back to the shop the next day so they were ready. They're like sub-assemblies is what they were. Uh-huh. And I knew Leon's son really well because we were the same age, Donnie Hunt, and actually Donald. And we were together almost every day of our lives. So one day he asked me if I would, help out with that because they couldn't produce between Donnie and his sister, Linda. They couldn't keep up and build enough. They had to build 120 things every night.
Oh, wow.
So I said, sure. So I was getting paid like 15 cents or something to do one. Sounds like peanuts, right? Well, but to an 11-year-old kid, that was a $65 check at the end of the week. It was like a millionaire.
Bam! That's right.
Yeah. And this is back in 1971, okay? Where $65 went a long way for a kid.
Oh, for sure.
I started out assembling these parts and making a little bit of money. I was the only 11-year-old kid in my school that had money in his own pocket. Uh-huh. It was crazy.
That's great.
So, it was good. And then as I got older, like turning 13, 14, 15, and so on, I was offered summer work there.
Okay.
There was no rules that you had to be 18 in those days to operate a machine or anything. As long as you were careful, that was fine. You were eligible.
Right.
So I would work there in the summer, just doing crazy little things, putting a nut on a bolt and driving it down, so on. And eventually, I did this probably 4 or 5 summers in a row. Then I was getting paid $1 an hour. So that was now I was really a millionaire.
Oh, rocking and rolling.
Yeah. I'd get a check at the end of the week. It would be $133. Nobody in my age group of 14 had any kind of money like that. Nobody.
That's
And
awesome.
so I did that. I literally was so interested in that work. And let me tell you why, okay? Because my father, he was a television repairman back in 1968, 69, 70. And I used to go to him at his shop, and he had testing equipment like an oscilloscope and all kinds of testers and stuff. And I would use those things. I could connect the oscilloscope up to a speaker, and just by turning the different, potentiometers on it and tuners, I could make all kinds of eerie sounds with it, like alien sounds and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And, that was pretty cool for like a 14-year-old too, to hear those noises or make those noises. And I became interested in electronics and so forth. And then going to Automatic Dorman through those summers and seeing all those electronic motors, and I learned about relays and contactors, and I took an interest to it. And so, like I said, I worked every position in that company through the summers. Whenever somebody was sick or called in late or whatever, they'd say, Roy, can you go handle over Freddie's position? I would just go there. I would do it better than they would even, than the regulars.
Right on.
So, I was a pretty valuable person. I worked in that place for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And then what happened, they were selling to a company in Montreal called Jarry Precision. They bought garage door openers from Automatic Dorman in Paterson, New Jersey, brought them up there, then they were distributing them across the country, either by truck or train, depending on how many were ordered.
Right.
And so on. So what happened is in 1971, there was an Olympics there in Montreal in 1972, a Summer Olympics. At that time, the Canadian dollar was actually stronger than the US dollar, like $1.33 Canadian equal $1 Canadian, US, I mean. And but after the Olympics passed, the Canadian dollar, for some reason, just started a decline against the US buck. What happened then is it just became almost impossible to sell. There were a couple of companies making garage door openers in the Toronto area. Berkomatic was one. Yeah. And they were selling garage door openers in Canada Door also, cheaper than one that can be made in the United States because of what happened with the exchange, the dollar exchange, right?
Right.
So they looked at it and so forth. And they said, what can we do? We can't lose that business. That's like 10% of our sales. So they looked at it and they said, you know something? If we could build a company up in Montreal, Canada, using Canadian labor and Canadian steel, which mostly comes out of Hamilton, Ontario, we can compete a lot easier. So they started looking at Automatic Dorman Inc., started looking at opening up a place up in Canada, in Montreal specifically, because the New York Thruway went from New Jersey right into Quebec, Canada, right? One straight line.
Yeah.
So it's the Route 87, by the way, Interstate 87.
Okay.
And so it was kind of an easy trip, 6-hour drive, of course, but, it was an easy trip to drive up there. So the company had a box truck, which I drove. I would bring goods up there, go through the customs and everything. And, then, I would leave from Quebec I'm skipping a whole big area there. So they applied for a 1-year visa for me to immigrate to Canada and work there.
Oh, no.
You have to have a work visa. So that was approved. And so I went up there one I guess it was a Monday. We left New Jersey at like 4 a.m. So we could get up there, get through the border. You have to wait at the border for quite a while to get your turn to go through. And we ended up in Saint Leonard, Quebec, which is a suburb north of Montreal, where Saint Leonard is how it would be spelled. Yeah. And I started building a duplicate plant there. They had cleared an area in a company called Jarry Precision, that company that was buying stuff from Paterson and distributing it through Canada. Yeah. They had extra space in part of their building, and they cleared a space just for garage door operator production. Oh, wow. So I knew how to do it because I'd worked there so many summers and so many years, 7 years in a row. So I said, I'm gonna just use this space. We need benches here in that company because they did weld commercial garage door track there. Mm-hmm. It was part of the Bombardier company. Jerry
Okay.
Precision was a division of Bombardier, or Bombardier, as they say in French.
Yeah.
They made all kinds of things there. It was crazy. They stamped metal helmets for the U.S. Army. And if you ever go to the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, it's kind of a crazy thing. It had a roof that retracted. It was bad fabric that got pulled up on wires. All the blue seats that were in that stadium that were actually part of the Olympic ceremonies and everything, they were stamped at Jerry Precision, which was part of Bombardier. Bombardier made the Ski-Doo, which was a snowmobile.
Yeah.
And they also, later on in the years, they started to make the Sea-Doo, which was,
the wave runner.
Little personalized power boat.
Right.
And so I started there building that company, just started with workbenches and so on. But I mean, a big part of it was getting goods in there so we could do it. I had to hire a bunch of people. So, of course, I had to find people. The dominant language in Quebec is French.
Right.
Or you call them French Canadians. But I hired people that spoke English for my benefit, because I didn't speak French at the time. So we built that company. We built that thing, and we started producing commercial door openers first. And then we decided that we would move into the residential operator line. We built the exact same duplicate machine that I had been building down in Paterson, New Jersey for like a dozen years. Company did well, really did.
Cool.
I mean, we were able to hire Canadians, pay them in Canadian funds. And we also were able to purchase Canadian steel.
Nice.
And that was a windfall. The name of the company was Lynx Industries at the time. Afterwards, it changed from Jerry Precision, a division of Bombardier, to Lynx Industries. Our logo was the face of a cat, the bobcat, which is a lynx.
Sure.
And so on. I did that for 18 years there.
No thanks.
So, I mean, over the years, I just became disillusioned with the region. I wanted out of there and so on. And during that time, that's when Roy was born there, my firstborn son.
Yeah.
Roy, the third, he was born there in Montreal. And then Jesse came in 1991. Roy was born in 1986, so he's going to be 40 in 2026. And then my other son came along, Jesse. He was born in 1991. He's maybe 31 years old now, or Roy is somewhere around 36 or so. Before I moved to Arizona, I did get involved with another company that made garage door openers in Montreal. It was called Menaris Auto Doors.
Okay.
That's what it was called at the time. And the owner of that and founder was actually Mike Menaris, but George Menaris was his son. He was my age. Okay. We got to be friends from years back. And what he did was he said, Roy, I'm going to be opening up in Arizona. I want to have a place to live during the winters. So I'm going to open up a business down there, and I'm going to buy a house. I mean, he was that well off. And, of course, houses back then were like $150,000.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah. So that's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Anyway, so he said, if you're ever interested in moving down there, let me know, because we need to have a person who's got your knowledge and is an American citizen, so we don't have to look for one. So I said, okay, fine. So in 1996, I did approach him, and he said, yeah, let's do that right away, okay? I said, fine. So we did. I came down to Phoenix in, let's see, when was it? July 1996. Right. They sent a truckload of stuff down here. George had already been here a couple of times, and he rented a place.
So how long did you run things in Arizona?
So I worked at that company for there for probably 15 years. Mm. I was a salesman and the shipper and everything. I did all the stuff. Yeah. You got to, when you have a new startup, you got to wear all the hats. You can't just all of a sudden just hire 50 people. It just doesn't work. Most we ever had in that company was 2, me and a helper.
Right.
And so on. So I did that for like I say, 15 years. What happened was George always had an exit strategy for Menaris Auto Doors. Uh-huh. And what happened was he did get somebody contacted him from France, a company called Simo USA. Actually, it was Simo France, but they had a branch in Florida called Simo USA. Okay. And they went up to Montreal. They saw the They saw the operation there, the manufacturing process. And Europeans, the euro dollar is stronger than the US buck. So they can come over here with their euro dollar, which is also somewhere around $1.33 to a US dollar. Actually, it's dropped now. And so they offered George $10 million. And George was like, great, I'm a millionaire, sure. So they came to Montreal, they looked at it, and they agreed to buy it.
Right.
Casino USA also had a place in, every one of these little enterprises I got involved in, I learned more and more and more.
Yeah.
I mean, Lynx Industries in Montreal, a division of Bombardier, they made garage door track, they made springs, and I dabbled in every bit of that. So I learned about tracks. Track formation is so many different types, and springs and all the different spring sizes and everything. So before I even came down to or left Lynx to come to Manaras and move down to Arizona, I had learned all that too. That was a big learning experience. And so on. And they made garage doors too, so I learned all about manufacturing doors and so on.
Awesome.
There's a lot involved. I mean, when you look at the garage door industry. There's the doors itself. It just goes on and on and on. It's infinite, it seems. It's what they call laterally integrated. There's a smarter person would say it's a linear construct. That's right.
For sure.
There's no beginning and no end to it, it seems. The Frenchmen, they bought Lynx. They bought not Lynx. I'm sorry. They bought Manaras Auto Doors. George got $6 million. There were 3 partners in it. George, his father, was a founder, Mike, and then his sister, Lily Manaras. So each one got $2 million Canadian. Nice. Yeah, that is nice. Sure, that's a goal for anybody. There's always got to be an exit strategy.
Yeah,
Casino USA had a building where they sold. Casino USA made those tubular motors that you find in awnings. Just rolls like an awning out and rolls it back up. That's a big industry in Europe, huge, because window coverings and being energy conscious is a big deal there. They make a ton of money selling those things. The reason for it is a tubular motor only costs $25 to manufacture, but you sell them for $250. Okay, so I mean, there's good margins in that, incredible margins.
Oh, right.
So that's how they had the money to be able to, afford to buy a U.S. company.
Right.
So what happened was, when the building in where was it, Brea, California, began to see losses, they didn't consider that maybe it was something that was going on there. Their salespeople didn't know shit about our products. They only knew about tubular motors. They just thought, okay, it's got to be something in Manaras that's causing this. So right away, the first thing they did was they closed down the Brea operation.
Yeah.
They kept this one open because they knew that I had value. Boca Raton, Florida, they had an operation there.
Yeah.
It wasn't doing too bad. They wanted to turn that into the tech support center for SEMO and Manaras.
Okay.
And I was commuting from Phoenix to depended. You could land in Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, or Miami, and get to Boca Raton, both in Broward County.
Right.
And I could fly in any one of those, and then I could rent a car and drive into the. And so because they wanted a tech support center there, I was teaching. They put together a team of 5 people from the company that wanted to go into garage door openers. So I would go there every 2 weeks and teach these people. I built a really big, long manual based on just tech support and, what to look for when people call in with problems. And I did that for years, probably 3 years I did that. So what I did was I started out by installing the Manaras garage door openers, commercial door openers on those doors, putting safety edges, photo sensors, everything.
Yeah.
3-button controls, open, close, stop with a key lock out, all kinds of things. I wired all that stuff in for them. And I showed them. There were 2 girls and 3 guys. And that was the best, so I could see how to install this stuff.
Yeah.
and that helped them out greatly right off the bat. They said it themselves. They never had any idea how to install a commercial door opener until I came along and showed them. So the thing was, troubleshooting is a whole nother side of it, okay?
Yeah.
You go out there and you look at a door, you push the open button, it doesn't go open. That's a whole nother animal, okay? So they, I had to go into that afterwards. Now they knew how to install one, but they didn't know why something was defective or how to find out what was defective. You see, I opened up Menaris Auto Door Products to Wayne Dalton. It was a $3 million contract.
Okay.
$3 million every year in sales of garage door openers to Wayne Dalton. It took a lot of work to get that because they were buying LiftMaster. And they were sold that only LiftMaster would work for them.
Yeah.
So getting that $3 million a year contract with Wayne Dalton, that was gold for SEMO. But they didn't understand how important it was that, there was tech support connected with it.
Right.
And that ended up working against me. There's another entity in this. Those SEMO USA along the way, SEMO in France, had been taken over by another company called Somfy International. They also made tubular motors. They were commercial tubular motors.
Okay.
And they had been developing motors that go inside the barrel of a rolling door. So it would roll the barrel. The problem with that product is there was nothing wrong with it. It was a good product. But when there was a problem with it, the guy had to take down the whole entire barrel of the rolling steel door onto the ground and take off the crowns on the end and go inside the barrel and pull out the whole tubular motor. Like a 3.5 or 4 hour operation. So they don't want to do that. They like the operator that mounts on the outside and it connects with a sprocket and chains. Mm-hmm. You could take that operator down and put another one up there. So that product, let's say process, I mean, it was attractive, hey, let's just put this motor inside the tube and just turn it. Mm-hmm. They were doing it like that in Europe for 20 years.
Okay.
The Americans installers just never got used to it. It's just too much work to put that thing in the pipe.
Yeah.
And it's understandable, it is. So kind of little by little, the whole concept of a tubular motor in a rolling steel door or a rolling grill or whatever, it just lost all interest.
Sure.
And so on.
Yeah.
So, before that, like I said, I did the tech support for years. I got 44 years in tech support. That's why my mind is in tune to that or keen on that product.
Sure.
And all these years talking to people in Canada and in the United States, I became very, very keen and in tune to what people want. Right. I just got done writing an article. It's titled, "What Door Dealers Expect." Because, there is some expectations from door dealers. Not only do they want a good product, but they want to be attached to a good team that has good support and so on. So if you don't provide that, you're not going to sell. Nope. And I'm telling you about tech support. I know we might move into that in a little bit, but
yeah,
tech support is so important that it doesn't matter how good your product is. People won't buy it if they can't get, assistance when they have a problem.
Right.
And even hundreds of the problems, if not thousands of them, are always homemade by the installer because he did something wrong. But people just don't catch their own mistakes.
Right.
I know this because I started writing computer code a while back when I was doing something with Overhead Door Corporation in Pennsylvania for them.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you got to do a thing called a code check. Make sure your code is right. You can't catch the mistakes in code that you wrote yourself. Somebody else has to put their eyes on it.
That's right.
Then and only then will the mistake be exposed. Just the way it is. I don't know.
It is. I see it in our business on the daily too. We have to get multiple sets of eyes on any given project before it can be sent. Yep.
That is a successful process. Bring other people in and say, what am I doing wrong?
So at what point did you sort of retire or get out of sort of the day-to-day employment?
Yeah, well, what happened in 2014, I was in Palm Springs visiting my sister. I did have high blood pressure and I wasn't having it treated. That's on me, okay?
Right.
I mean, the thing was, when you have high blood pressure, you can still carry on through your day like it's like I am right now, you know? It doesn't affect you. But it is a silent killer and there's good reason for it. So one day, that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So one day while I was visiting there, one morning I stayed there. And when I was on my way back from Phoenix, I could call my sister in Ukaipa and say, hey, Cheryl, because I would leave late at night. Cheryl, I'm tired. Would you mind if I stay over? There was extra rooms at the house. Sure, she said, come on over. I would stay there. And then Monday morning, I would get on I-10 very early, 5 o'clock in the morning you had to get on. I don't know if you ever drove from the Inland Empire into the Los Angeles area on a Monday morning. It's hell. It's hell on wheels.
Yeah.
So I woke up early one morning. There is a thing called a morning stroke, okay? It happens to a lot of people. So I remember I had that high blood pressure, right? So I come on out. My sister, she yelled it to the extra room where I was staying. Roy, your coffee is ready. She knew exactly how to make my coffee, how I wanted it. Because she knew I needed a coffee to drive at 5:30 a.m. into Los Angeles. So I get up. Right away, I know something's off. You know when something's off with your body, right? So I'm walking to the family room where there's a table. And I'm noticing my legs are very wobbly, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on? So I kind of just straightened out the legs as best I could, and I just walked to the table, sat down in a chair. There was the mug of coffee. And I wanted to pick it up with my left hand, my left arm hand. Couldn't lift it off the table. Wouldn't come up. No, just a mug of coffee. How heavy is that thing?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I just couldn't lift it. I was like, what the hell? This is weird. Then I started thinking, oh, the kids probably glued to the table. They're always playing jokes on me, right? So I reached out with my right hand and my left hand. I picked up the mug with both hands. I was able to lift it. Took a sip, put it down. It was perfect. Like I say, Cheryl knew exactly how to make my coffee.
Yeah.
And 2 creams, 2 sugars. Anybody wants to know. And but then I still was having trouble. And I thought, this is weird. Maybe I just need to catch a little fresh air. So I started to walk toward the front door.
Man.
So I get to the front door. I go to open it just to catch that breath of fresh air. And as I grab the handle, I'm feeling myself falling backwards. The balance totally disappears. And I grab a hold of the handle on the door, and I'm using that to prop myself up so I don't fall over. But I let go of that, and I got my hand on the wall there so I don't fall over. And I know I'm going to fall over any second, so right away I just go down on my knees. My right arm is still working, by the way. Left arm is not working at all. So my sister called 911. They come in an ambulance. Guys come in with a gurney, throw me up on it, strap me down, and they take me in an ambulance. They take me to a hospital. First thing that happens is they're shining a light in your eye. They can see your eyes aren't dilating. So they know that there's something going on inside the brain. So they take me to the first hospital that was there. They put me in an MRI. They get an image of what's going on inside. And they see, that there's just a huge pool of blood in there. Been bleeding for a long time. It could have happened before I even woke up. I don't know. They say we got to get that blood stopped. So Redlands is still east of Palm Springs. But in Palm Springs is a hospital called the Desert Regional Medical Hospital. They lead the world on stroke treatment.
Okay.
It's actually funded by 2 famous actors that lived there who had family members who died from stroke. One is Dinah Shore. You might have, I don't know.
I know.
And the other one is Frank Sinatra. They lived in Palm Springs, and they funded that hospital. There's actually a Frank Sinatra wing and a Dinah Shore wing.
Cool.
So they put me back in an ambulance, and they sent me over there. So I talked to a doctor in ER. I knew now that something was very serious. I see these guys talking off in the distance. They're nodding their head no, thinking, boy, I hope that's not about me. So Dr. Doris is her name. She's She comes to me from ER and she goes, Roy, you're in a serious condition. I go, okay, lay it on me straight. I can handle it. She goes, I go, how much time do I have? She goes, because remember I was trying, and my wife had just left her in Phoenix, right? She goes, oh, I'll probably give you about 2 hours. I go, no, geez, don't give it to me. That's, yeah.
Don't sugarcoat it, Doc.
Yeah, really. I told her that. It's okay. I told you not to sugarcoat it. But next time, give me a little sugar.
Oh, man.
Right? So she goes, we got to stop the bleeding. That's the only thing that's going to save you. There's 3 ways to stop bleeding in the brain. It's serious, okay? It's got to be done.
Yeah.
Number 1 is pressure is building it in your brain. And guess what? Pressure is no good on the brain cells. You can destroy a brain. If you just open up the skull and just did that on the brain cells, that would kill them, right?
Yeah.
So she goes, you got extreme pressure in your brain. We know because of your eyes. My eyeballs are bulging out of my head now.
Man.
They're actually trying to be pushed out. There's so much blood behind there, pulled. It's horrible. And it's putting pressure on the optic nerve. So that's why things are getting blurry and I can't see anymore. And she goes, we got to stop the bleeding. That's number 1. So the number 1 way to do it is they can drill holes in your head and then blood just comes out. And that relieves the pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2 is they can inject coagulants into your bloodstream. And what happens then is the coagulants, they cause the breach in the artery to close up or to stop bleeding. But because I was 60 years old when this happened, they said, we're not sure of the condition of your heart. So you could have arteries. We don't want to plug arteries in your heart and cause a heart attack. So the coagulant option is not on the table. Like, fine, I understand. What's number 3? So number 3 is coiling, it's called. It's really radical and it's kind of untested. Your femoral artery is on the inside of each leg, right where your groin is, right? There's one in each leg. If that thing gets severed, you could bleed out in a matter of minutes, right?
Yeah.
So they say, we're going to cut your femoral artery and we're going to put this coil up through your body and into where the breach is. Now, the breach in the artery that exploded wasn't a pinhole like in a hose, like, garden hose that, forms a pinhole when it's under pressure. It was a split in the artery laterally with it. Like as if you took a hot dog and just cut it from end to end.
Yeah.
He said, this is the most serious breach in an artery that we've ever seen. So it's going to take a lot of work to get that to stop bleeding. And I said, well, let's start now since I only have 2 hours. So in coiling, what they do is they make that cut in your femoral artery, and right behind your navel is a thing called the abdominal aorta. A friend of mine just died when that thing burst a little while ago.
Oh, man.
It's a splitter. Your aorta comes off your heart and it turns and goes down into that abdominal aorta, and then that splits there, and half the blood goes down into one leg through that femoral artery, and the other half goes to the other femoral artery in the other leg. Mm-hmm. And that's how you get blood fed into your legs. And so they put this thing, they do it on live x-ray. They have this tool, like a handle thing, and they put this coil on the end of this device. It's a wire. I'm going to wrap this up very soon, by the way. And they looks like a tiny little, it's like the size of a cigarette butt. It's like a little plastic thing with just hundreds of little hairs on it. And they put that thing up through the femoral artery, into the abdominal aorta, up through the aorta that goes into the heart, out through the heart, up through your carotid artery, into the brain, and then they find that breach, and they just drop this little brush thing there. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm unconscious for this, by the way. Okay, so what this little thing does is your own platelets start to stick to it. Okay? The platelets are just going through your CV system.
Wow.
These your own platelets stick to it. It causes a blockage. And because, like I mentioned with the hot dog before, the split is long. It's not like a pinhole.
Yeah.
They have to do like 3 or 4 of these things. And that's how they saved my life, basically. But then over the next period of days, I'm being visited by physical therapists and occupational therapists by the dozens. They want to see what's going on. They have to evaluate your level of impairment. I mean, this is the truth. In the beginning, I only mumbled. I couldn't even talk.
Man.
Because remember that I've done so many speaking engagements. And I guess, even from this podcast, you can know that I do have the gift of gab. That was one of my strong features. And this goes for even physical, I was right-handed and right-legged. Those were the strong parts of my body, so those retained. Where my left arm was my weak arm, I lost that completely. Weak hand. I don't have the use of my fingers or anything.
And so that was the moment that sort of retired us from.
Oh, yeah. Can't do anything anymore. I'm not going to climb a ladder anymore, that's for sure.
Right.
So the industry's most valuable commercial door operator, troubleshooter, was removed in a minute.
Man.
And then I started writing articles instead.
Okay.
Remember, this arm still works, right? You still see it? So does this one finger. I just got done writing a book on commercial door operators.
Oh, wow.
Commercial door operators. It's 116 pages in Word. It's something like, it's like 200,000 words, but forget the words. Characters is every time you punch a key, right?
Right.
There's like 750,000 characters in that book. Every one of them punched with this one finger. I'm not a typist, like real typists who type 75 words a minute. Yeah. I had to punch out my whole booklet with one finger.
Oh.
But I was able to do it. And I have my book in a book publishing company right now. They're looking at it.
Cool.
And, making some little changes, moving stuff around, editing. And I told Lena Clark, she's my main editor, how I typed out with one finger. She just can't believe that. She's like, I never heard of a story like that. Holy crap, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So, but you can do it. You can do it. It just takes time.
You're proof. That's great.
Not only that book I've done 5 other manuscripts. I got 6 books ready for publishing. But it takes time to get it through and a little bit of money here or there, which I don't have.
Sure.
So.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. What an accomplishment. Yeah. We're good. But I do want to see if we can explore a subject that you brought up earlier, and that's this concept of tech support. Support for our technicians.
Right. It's a passion I have. It's a subject I have a very high passion for because people ignore it. It's out there for anybody. I mean, I don't know if they think that they're afraid of looking dumb or whatever, but I mean, tech support is really there to make you look smarter. Do
all of the manufacturers provide it? Because I'll bet you, I work with a lot of garage door dealers and techs, some of their techs I work with, but I'll bet they don't even know that tech support is an option.
It's a must. Anybody who builds an electromechanical operator, whether it be a door or a gate operator, has to have it. Because, I mean, even with gate operators, that's even more severe. You could hook up 30 different things to a gate operator, or even a commercial door opener. There's so many different things that have to be connected. And, installing a thing or mounting it in the right place with the brackets and so forth, that's one thing. But now you got to be responsible. I mean, people just think electricians can do this. You mentioned electricians much earlier. Electricians are my enemy because they think that, oh, I'm an electrician, I know everything, but it's not true. They don't. I mean, electricians, I always say, some get mad at some. Electricians, they bend pipe, okay? And then they pull wire through it. That's what they do. But I mean, they don't know that an open close stop on a commercial operator needs 4 wires. They don't even know that to start. They run 3 wires because they see an open, a close, and a stop button. That's 3 buttons. So they bring down 3 wires to it. That's their first mistake. they need a fourth wire. The fourth one is the ground, okay, or what we call the common sometimes.
Right.
They need that too, and but they don't call tech support. They just think, okay, no, I know much more, but it's not true. And so they turn a problem into like a 30 or a 40-day event.
Right.
Especially with the commercial operators. And on August 29th, 2010, commercial door operators were added to the entrapment protection segment in UL 325 for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, residential, it's been in there forever, but it says that all commercial door operators have to have either an electric door edge. It doesn't have to be an electric door edge. It could be a safety edge on the bottom of the door, or photo sensors that project a beam across the door opening that when obstructed, when either one is obstructed, it will cause the door to reverse and go to the open position.
Right.
Okay. That went into effect on August 29, 2010. But it wasn't there was nothing like that in effect from 1950 right up until 2010. So it was an option. You want safety? How much is that going to cost me? $250. No, thank you. Forget it.
Yep.
So that's what was going on. Now it's not an option anymore. The installer has to put something. Okay.
Sure.
And so what happens is there's still electricians, old school electricians. They'll tell the installer says, how come I got to hold my finger on the close button? What happens is if you don't install the compatible monitored photo or safety system to the door opener on commercial door openers, even on residential, the door operator will not function as intended, meaning that you have to press your finger on the close button and hold it. So that was included in residential door openers back in 1993. If you block the photo sensors on your garage door at home, so put a box in front of it or something, or have somebody else stand in front of the beam.
Yeah.
And you go to close the door with one of the remotes or anything, the door won't close. But if you hold your finger on the wall button, that allows what's called a bypass. That was included. There was concern in the beginning of UL 325. This goes back to 1988. I know because I was on that ad hoc committee. What if people need to close their door to secure the home at night? Okay, sure. So then, somebody had suggested, let's just do a bypass. As long as you hold in your finger on the button, you then can close the garage door. So pretty much all residential garage door openers have that.
I see.
I'm so off on the topic of tech support now, it's nuts. To this day, people don't know that. Okay? No. And because they never call tech support to ask.
There's a lot of things, right? And that's what this podcast is for, is to see if we can't, bring about some information or some education that guys can use to make their job and their business better. And so I think about that, guys. If you're stumped, you've got your phone in your hand, your technician's got their phone in their hand, and they can call, a supervisor or the manager or the owner, or they can even go directly to the manufacturer's tech support line. And there are people there to help. And we'd like to assume that they are informed and educated, but this can make your job and make your technicians, make the service you provide so much better. Did I get that right, Roy?
Yes. And not only do the tech support people at the manufacturer have to know their product inside and out and up and down, they got to know everything about all the different door types and the applications and the mounting options and how to put everything and make everything a system.
Yeah. Because
once you put the operator on the door, then it's no longer a door or an operator. It's a garage door system. And that's where the knowledge fails everybody, I guess. But I mean, tech support is also not just, there to help you when you're in a pinch, but it's also it's also part of what I call the education factor. You don't know something, you call tech support, they tell you. And guess what? You're smarter for it the next day.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. I mean, there is definitely been a lack of education. And my next article that's going to be in that Garage Door News for September 1st is going to be the education code. It's my version of, what's needed. Dave Bussier is good about getting that online every first of the month.
Yeah, he is really good. That is a terrific periodical. It's a small newspaper magazine, comes out every month. It's 34 years old. It really is intended to help the industry, inform the industry, and educate. I would recommend everybody. Certainly, it's free online, but I recommend everybody, get your address over to Dave Bussier at the GarageDoorNews.com. Get your address over there. Get on their mailing list, and use this and provide this like I said, it's a periodical or a garage door journal, if you will, for your people. So everybody, thank you so much for taking some time to listen to the literal scholar of our industry. And there are others. And if we listen to what he had to say, look at how he applied himself. Roy applied himself so hardcore over the years, and you guys can too. And I know there are other scholars. There's one of my great friends in Philadelphia and Camden, New Jersey. Those guys.
Yeah.
I love those guys. Ed and Mike. They are scholars in the industry too, and they are great.
I'm talking about Mike Batoff.
I am.
Oh yeah, he's my friend.
He's a good guy. And I recommend that we all take the opportunity to meet these guys and learn from them. I want to thank Roy for jumping on and just kind of sharing his story and his journey in the garage door industry. Obviously, it's mostly commercial, and that is a different animal than our residential side. But guys, become omniscient, which is know everything. Become knowledgeable on every aspect of the garage door industry and train others and hand it down, and build your business in a way that it can be handed and sold down to somebody or leave it to your kids. And you've got to deliver that knowledge, which Roy has. Roy's son is in garage door industry, has a garage door dealer shop and operation over in Huntington Beach, and it's wonderful. So, Roy, any last words? Any last words of advice to the guys that are,
just for those installers, the service people out there that are, that are doing garage door work every day, and don't forget tech support. Get the 800 numbers in your phone, and call these people. You'll be a better person for it, and you'll be smarter for it. Believe me, I'm telling you. Okay.
Right on.
The manufacturers, they spend a lot of time and effort building these departments. They know it's needed, and it's there for you. It's a win-win situation.
I love it. The win-win situation. I love that, because a lot of times our pride gets in the way of us maybe asking for help, but you will learn. You will be able to learn and develop your skills from tech support, and then over time, like the very next day, better for your next experience or the next challenge that you're faced with. So use these guys. Use tech support.
Oh, of course, that's right.
Yep. Well,
it's
great.
A win-win, I say.
Win-win. Well, I love it. Thanks again, Roy. We're gonna sign off, guys. We've got an awesome lineup with the podcast. We've got Roy. We've got an extremely special guest coming up this weekend, and we'll be able to go live with that. And I'm gonna save that surprise, and I'll share that with you later. We have Jody Underhill. We have Joe Crisera. We have Matt Kuehlhorn. We have a great lineup, and it all starts here with Roy, the guru of the industry. So thanks again, Roy. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a great one. We'll see you guys after the holiday.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the Garage Door Heroes podcast. I'm your host, Robb Leishman. If you got value today, hit subscribe and share this with another garage door hero you know. This show is brought to you by the Legit 5 Garage Door Marketing Team, helping garage door companies grow and dominate their markets. Until next time, keep growing, keep leading, and keep winning.